Hey, this is Niva with DestinyTips, here to bring you another video, this time the analysis on the new ViDoc released by Bungie. Now, this ViDoc doesn't show much gameplay, but it does give us insight into what Bungie has been working on and how passionate they feel about it. So I'll pause it a few times on a few scenes and hopefully expose some of the stuff in the video to some of you who have not seen the video, and those of you who have seen the video maybe show you possible new things that you haven't caught. Okay, so let's get started.
That moment where we decided that the right thing was for us to do something big and commit the entire company to it, it's a big deal.
The stories tell of a golden age long ago, when our civilization spanned the system. It was a bright and hopeful time, but it didn't last.
Okay, let's pause it here. Here it looks like we have remnants of a great Earth city now broken down. We have a car in the bottom left corner, we have street lights, and we have ruins of old buildings. So this really gets the point across that this was once a big city, but now it's been broken down by our foes who have tried to stamp us out. And we'll get onto that later, and let's continue.
Knocked us down and tried to stamp us out. No one knows exactly what. But we do know this. Very few of us survived. And those who did owe their lives to the Traveler.
The fantasy you have when you're creating an experience is that someone else is going to enjoy it. One reason that the game is so intriguing is that it's reaching players in ways that we haven't before. We're really going to make a conscious effort to build an experience which is going to be meaningful for people. Like, how do you keep a player going for 50 or 100 hours over some number of months?
Okay, let's pause here. And on the iPhone it reads, "New missions and fresh rewards await in Destiny. Get in the game and help us take our worlds back from our enemies." Now this is interesting because it says at the top Destiny update. I'm not entirely sure if Destiny the game sent him this update or if he's getting it from a friend, but if he is getting it from the game, that means there's a heavy level of integration where the game will communicate with us once it gets access to our iPhones, tablets, and laptops. This is really interesting, and it will bring a level of dimension to game from not only our console, but to everyday life in all of our devices. So this is really interesting. I'm excited to hear more about this. Let's continue with the video.
Not just to want to play the game, but to want to play it with their friends.
Okay, let's pause here. This is my favorite screen. This screen is very interesting to me. We have on the left a menu that says The City, Chapter 3, Bounty, Strike, Raid, and Faction Wars. Now I'm going to run through these, what I think they are. The City, Home, I believe this might be your main hub or your main menu, or it could possibly be taking you to the last city, where you can access all of this stuff, such as matchmaking. You may be there already, and that's how you can access this stuff. I'm not entirely sure. We have Chapter 3. I think that's where you left off in your story, in your campaign line. We have Bounty. I believe this is going to be something similar to what Bungie instilled with Halo Reach, weekly, monthly, and daily challenges where you gain bonuses for them. Perhaps you might gain experience in this, or you might gain money. You have Strike. I'm not entirely sure what Strike is. It could be a custom game setting. We have Raid. Raids are familiar to me from World of Warcraft, where you would get together with a team of possibly 5 or possibly even 20 or 40 and go out and complete a mission together that would be too difficult for 1 or 2 people. Therefore, you grabbed a bunch of your friends and you went out. So this would be really fun if this was implemented in a first-person shooter. And lastly, and my favorite, we have Faction Wars, which I personally think is going to be the matchmaking system in Destiny. Factions, as I've made a video earlier and you can check out, there's 5 of them: Seven Seraphs, Dead Orbit, New Monarchy, Osiris, and Future War Cult. Now, I'm not sure if you have to choose these factions right off the bat, but it would be very interesting if you were assigned to one or you picked one and you were stuck with it for your whole career, because then you could really work for that faction and there wouldn't be constant flip-flopping. So Faction Wars, I think, will be factions fighting against each other. Think Red vs. Blue in Halo. Now it would be Osiris vs. New Monarchy. So this would be very interesting to me. To the right, very quickly, we can see his friends who are online. He is Halcyon, and then he has his friends DJ and Stashi. The 6, 12, and 16 might be their levels, and I guess we'll find out more about that, but I like that they have an in-game menu. Not a lot of games do, and you have to go to the Xbox dashboard or the PS3 dashboard to see your friends and what they're doing. So this would be very interesting if they had an in-game dashboard just like many of the Halos did. So let's continue here with the video.
Legends say the Traveler sacrificed itself to save us. The mysterious sphere still hangs where it made its last stand, low above the earth, keeping silent watch. The years that followed the collapse of the Golden Age were hard, but slowly we joined together to build a city beneath the Traveler. And now we've begun to venture back into the wild, only to find that
Okay, let's take a brief look at this screenshot right here. It has two of our enemies traveling together. The larger ones are called the Cabal, and the smaller ones are called the Fallen. Now, I believe inspirationally the Cabal were created from the idea of the Brute in Halo, and the Fallen after the Covenant and the Elites. So this is them traveling together, so this probably does mean that we will be not only fighting enemies, but the enemies that we are fighting will be working together just to take us out. I'm not really sure the backstory on this and what the alliances are, but I'm sure that we'll find this information out soon, and so let's continue with the video.
Strange and deadly creatures have occupied our old worlds, and they're pressing hard against the city, probing for a weakness, trying to stamp us out for good.
The limitations are our imagination, our ability to conceive these ideas, and that's a pretty special place to be in.
Your story begins at this moment of great adventure and peril. You are a guardian of the city.
Okay, let's pause right here, and this is my favorite screenshot of the whole video. And so far, from all the videos I've watched, I haven't seen anyone catch this, but I did notice on this character's helmet, at the bottom on your right, is a little emblem, and that insignia is the Seven Seraphs emblem. So we're getting a first look at a player from the Seven Seraphs faction. This is the first time I've seen a mention to the actual factions on a player. This is very exciting for me. And as you can see, the Seven Seraphs emblem, I'll post it up here for you, is black and gray in some instances. Now this player is blue and red, so you can still be part of a faction and be any color you like. That's exciting for me, so let's continue with the video.
A soldier able to wield some of the Traveler's incredible power. If you can find a way to save the city, to reclaim all that we have lost, you will become legend. If you fail, the last light of civilization will go out.
We needed something that challenges and inspires all of us. Something that I think has enough ideas in it that'll last us for the next 10 years.
We are blazing a ton of new trails.
We're building something alive. It has a nature that we don't totally control. Things are going to happen that we don't plan, and that's amazing.
I'd like to hit on this point that he just mentioned, that things are going to happen that we can't control. Now, they said even Bungie, so the players in the game obviously aren't going to be able to control these factors, maybe things such as the weather, and I'd like to see how they implement this. What factors will they be? What kind of ripple effect will they have? Will they affect the game a lot? Will they affect the outcome of the game? Will they affect what we're doing at the very moment in real time? I'm not entirely sure, but this is exciting to me. I'd like to have to account for factors in the game that I wasn't expecting, kind of keep you on your toes. This is not in a lot of games. That's almost like a simulation, and the more things that Bungie can implement in this game like that would be very exciting, because it really emulates real life. So let's continue on.
The best thing about Bungie is, even though you have these crazy ideas, you know that they're going to get funneled into a game that's fun.
We're creating something completely new, and it's a scary place, but if it's not scary, then it's not going to be good. all have a ton of passion, and we all have just enough crazy to pull this off.
We've gone from continuing to make Halo games to doing something which certainly draws on our past experiences and plays to our strengths, but it's new and exciting. It's going to take on a life of its own.
We didn't even know how big Halo was going to get. How can anything be bigger than Halo? We'll find out.
Okay, and there's Destiny. That was a very exciting video. Although it's only 4 minutes long, it really got me pumped for the game, even more so than I was, and I'm very excited for this game. I've watched this ViDoc at least 25 times, and will probably watch it at least 45 more until the next piece of information comes out in March. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Matt with DestinyTips. Peace.